are starting today's trading after a great big drop yesterday. We hit a support level on the blue line on the 4-hour chart you can see here, which also is pretty darn close to the 50% line of the Fibonacci line that I drew in, which I think is still in play. So that's very interesting. It came down to the lowest was, it's not on the screen, but anyway, it was just under 55.10. So after that point, you can kind of see there's 3 green candles that developed. And if you look on the 1-hour chart here, you can kind of see that it's just forming a hook. However, we are sitting at a resistance level with the orange 20 SMA here. And it is possible that that will prevent us from going up. But more than likely, I think it'll probably break through that and then get on up a little bit further. I don't know how far up this point it's going to go, but for today, I'm guessing that it's probably more likely to go up. However, as is often the case, the very short-term chart here is showing that it's probably going to tip down and there be a good enough place to make a short trade here. So I got into a short position here and I put my stop in at a tight place, which I didn't really see it going above that at this point. We've already started developing our downward movement. And I put in an exit order down here, just like 2 ticks above the SMA, the highest SMA. So that would be a really good trade for me. That's a few $100s if it gets all the way down there. It's in transition. I wouldn't say I'm trading against the trend exactly. It's just a transition place. And so, it probably doesn't want to drop too much. And I kind of felt like that. It was dropping, but there was like a resistance to doing so. So I kind of locked in my profits here. I dropped down the stop. And as it hesitated there, you can see the green candle develop. It just kind of like, I don't want to go down any further. Even though the MACD is looking good, I didn't really want to risk too much here. So I put in my stop order a little bit lower and then got stopped out. So the first trade I made, I can't remember, I made a little bit. I think I made $100 here. And then it kind of went up and then it started to go down again. And the MACD is still looking good. So I did another short here at this point and have my stop and exit orders in about the same place. This time I raised up my limit order instead of dropping the stop down, just because you're going to get more out of the trade that way. And I got filled at a small profit again. It was like $87.50. So now I've made 2 trades and I've made $187. So I'm just kind of getting small trades this morning, being cautious and waiting for the opening bell, which is going to happen in about 7 minutes. All right, so now we can see 2 dojis that have formed on the support levels that we see here, which is the 20 and 50 SMAs. I actually match right up together on the 2,000 tick chart. And it looks like there is a potential for it bouncing. The MACD has not shown that quite yet, so we want to be cautious. But sometimes the MACD is a little bit delayed. It is a response to what we see up here. So we don't want this necessarily to dictate what we're doing before this does. And here we can see a definite recovery and bounce. So again, this is more the direction of trading that I am inclined to think is going to happen for the day. We can see on the MACDs on the longer term charts, the 15 and 30, that it's probably going up. I see it heading up right now. And you can see the RSI here is also gaining momentum. So anyway, I've got into a long this time. And I've made $200 profit so far as it went up 1 tick. And put my exit order in up here, kind of at the body of these candles up here, which is actually above the blue SMA, because that's the direction I think it's going to go. And my stop is actually quite a bit down there. It's a long ways down there. This time I have them linked so that I can raise one up close by without accidentally getting both of them filled. And it kind of hesitated there, over 52 seconds away from the opening bell. And this worried me a little bit. A rejection candle. It went up and then it came right back down again. And so I raised that stop up to just one tick below where I had gotten in. I'm pretty sure that it filled at a lower point than that. So on my third trade, I actually lost a little bit of money, but not a lot. And now we are 1 minute after the opening bell, and we immediately after that rejection wick, it formed a big green candle, came down but not quite so far, and now it's formed another green candle here. Now the MACD is starting to turn up, and so this is a better time to get into a long. It's a little safer position. So I've got into a long position here, and it went up, and I got out at a little bit lower place than I had actually originally set my order for. Just trying to be really cautious here. And I'm at 175, so not a huge amount for 4 trades, but I'm just trying to be really cautious. All right, so again, we've still seen like this upward push, and this is happening really fast now because obviously we're after the opening bell. So these candles are developing very, very quickly. Okay, so I'm in a short position thinking it's going to drop down a little bit, probably not a lot. But just to be on the safe side, I lowered my stop order down, and I did get stopped out. So I lost a bit on that trade. And I think I was giving more weight to the MACD and that resistance level than, in hindsight, I knew to do. Okay, so now we can see that it has indeed broken through the resistance level, and the MACD is going up. And we can see the momentum building on all the charts. So I am getting more comfortable with the idea of doing a long. However, I missed out on this movement here because I was busy. I was waiting for something and getting a little distracted. So I just kind of backed away from the computer, give myself a break, and missed that trade. So now I'm waiting for it to drop down and be a good opportunity for me to get into a long. Well, it ended up not dropping down very far at all. So I went ahead and got in a long up here. Now the MACD is not looking very good. The RSI is maxed out. But I did not put in a stop order because we are definitely showing excitement about going up, way more than going down. And I have an alert put in over here. You can see that's pretty much right at the yellow SMA there, maybe just a couple ticks above it. And so that's where I had put my exit order in originally. And then I lowered it down to that point, to exactly right on the SMA. And do not have a stop order in. And I would suspect that even if this does drop, it's not going to stay down there very far. And indeed, it did not. It didn't even get down to the 20 SMA. And so, this is why I don't do stops sometimes. The MACD is kind of not bearing on my decisions right now because of the momentum that it's building going up. And I really do think it'll probably get up to that point, pretty likely. It probably will go beyond that. But to me, that is a really good trade, and that would be all I need for the day. So we're waiting for it to get up there. And every time it drops down, like it dropped down here and it dropped down here, I'm not losing that much money. Like right here, it's not that much money that I'm losing. So it's actually beneficial for me to hang on to it, even though it's dropping down, because I'm pretty sure it's going to go up. And it's pretty likely. And sure enough, the big green candles that develop afterwards, I've already made a ton of money right through here. $250 is sitting out right here, and it's within shooting distance of the exit order that I have, which it just a few seconds later hit and filled. And I made $437, 6 trades, and I am done for the day. I've actually only traded for about 40 minutes this morning, and I got done by 9:41. So very happy with today's trading, even though it just kind of like it was hard to get traction this morning. I'd make a little and then I'd lose a little and make a little and lose a little. But the last trade I was a lot more confident, and so I'm aimed for a bigger trade, and it worked out well. So I would say for the longer term, we are probably looking at getting up to the Fibonacci line here at 55.89 again, probably even higher at the 56.13 level. I would not be at all surprised if it gets up to that point today, if we make a huge recovery, just because we had that kind of unreasonable drop yesterday. And the market is just like really volatile right now, as it always is. So anyway, thanks for joining me.